Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome, dear listeners, brothers, sisters, to the 13th episode of our podcast series on the Baqi Cemetery and the Re-build Baqee Campaign. Over the past few days, a lot has happened. There were demonstrations around the world about the demolition of the Baqi Cemetery, and we've been having a continuous series of these discussions. As part of these podcasts, the last four podcasts were a part of a series that Dr. Hatim did, and they focused on the historical context of what happened to Janatul Baqi, how people, especially Shia, were quiet at that time, and then what was the situation at the time. Also, what is the impact of striving for the cause of rebuilding Baqi? How is it related to the Sha'ir Allah? And sanctifying the Sha'ir Allah is linked to showing taqwa in front of Allah. And once you have taqwa, you can solve a lot of your problems in this world, because all of those problems, the solution of those come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, with that being said, we also talked about what are practical examples of what needs to be done. Protest is one means of doing that, but doing protests once in a year does not cut it. It has to be something that is done consistently, persistently, especially by the people who live in a society where their voices are heard and the voices of their governments can make a difference at the international stage. So, my dear brothers and sisters, this is something that has to be done on an ongoing basis. It is not once in a blue moon type of thing. It is not a once in a life type of thing or once in a year type of thing. It has to be done every single day, because you believe me, anyone who has gone to Jannatul Baqi, the graves of the Imams are open every single day. And when it is raining, the graves are open. When it is hot, the graves are open. When it is night, the graves are open. When it is day, the graves are open. When it is Ashura, the graves are open and there are no Shia over there. There is no Mathaib of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. When it is the Milad of whether 15th Ramadan, the second Imam, or of the 4th, 5th, and 6th Imams, nothing happens. It is quite pitch dark, totally silence. When it is the 21st of Ramadan, or the martyrdom of the Prophet, or the martyrdom of any of the Imams, or Sayyidah Fatma Zahra Salawatullah alayh, it is pitch dark, quiet. No one can go there. No one is allowed to go there. Anyone who goes there with the janaza or during the time when the Baqi opens, there are hundreds of soldiers who are just there to say and push people around. As we've talked about in this series earlier, what is the feeling when you go into Baqi? So when you think about this and compare to any of the other shrines, you see the musiba, you see the ghurba of the Ahl al-Bayt alayhi salam in their own house, in the city of Medina, in the city of the Prophet. And that musiba, that ghurba should not be forgotten, should not be, it's not light. We cannot take it lightly. It is happening every single day, every single year, every single moment, every single second. As I'm talking right now, it's dark, it's night in Medina, and Baqi is completely quiet. There is no one allowed to even sit around that place. That is Baqi. So this is really important for us to understand that this struggle has to continue. This struggle is not one person's or one community struggle. It is a struggle, it has to be the struggle of the entire humanity, because the people, the personalities who are buried over there, especially the four Imams, they are the reason why the universe was created. They are the reason why we got Hidayah. They are the progeny of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the khulafa of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the ambassadors, the the lineage of the Prophet and the light of Allah on earth. And that's why it's really important for us to continue. So, as a result, we will continue this discussion over the next weeks, and you will see there is an interesting parallel channel that we will start in terms of the discussion, because the discussion is unfolding in a very interesting direction. So, just to quickly brief you, the next two episodes, we're going to talk about the consequences of not keeping up the history and those nations who have successfully upkept their history. After that, we're gonna highlight few questions that a regular Muslim or even a Shia Muslim would have with respect to history that Dr. Hathim has already addressed, and we're going to talk about those questions because they lay the foundation of some of the answers that Dr. Hathim will be giving. And in parallel, there will be a broader question that we will be asking, which will lay the foundation for a parallel track of discussions on the topic of how and what role does the shaitan plays in this entire scenario. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum. Hope you're going to continue joining us in these discussions.